Guys, what is up? This is Gavin here. It is, 8:38 right now, and we are here for our second half of the third half of this video of knowing the truth about Harvey Dent. Now, this may be a short video because we're almost done here, and we are going to be reacting today, alright? We're going to be watching Bane make his speech about it, and what actually happened, and what's gonna happen since the truth has been told and all that, alright? Alright, so anyways, we're gonna be reacting to it, so let's do it, yeah.
Stands a symbol of oppression. Blackgate Prison, where 1,000 men have languished under the name of this man, Harvey Dent, who has been held up to you as the shining example of justice.
We're just gonna keep moving you till we can get you in front of the camera.
You have been supplied with a false idol to stop you tearing down this corrupt city. Let me tell you the truth about Harvey Dent from the words of Gotham's police commissioner, James Gordon. The Batman didn't murder Harvey Dent, he saved my boy. Then took the blame for Harvey's appalling crimes so that I could, to my shame, build a lie around this fallen idol. I praised the madman who tried to murder my own child, but I can no longer live with my lie. It is time to trust the people of Gotham with the truth, and it is time for me to resign. And do you accept this man's resignation? And do you accept the resignation of all of these liars, of all the corrupt?
Those men locked up for 8 years in Blackgate and denied parole under the Dent Act based on a lie.
Gotham needed a hero.
It needs it now more than ever. You betrayed everything you stood for.
What's the point? Far out there when the structures fail you, when the rewards aren't weapons anymore, they're shackles, letting the bad guy get ahead. One day, you may face such a moment of crisis, and in that moment, I hope you have a friend like I did. To plunge their hands into the filth, so that you can keep yours clean.
Your hands look plenty filthy to me, Commissioner.
We take Gotham from the corrupt, the rich, the oppressors of generations who have kept you down with myths of opportunity, and we give it back to you, the people. Gotham is yours. None shall interfere. Do as you please. But start by storming Blackgate and freeing the oppressed. Decadent nests and cast out into the cold world that we know and endure. Courts will be convened. Spoils will be to serve true justice, this great city, it will endure. Gotham will survive.
And yep, that's it, folks. That is the speech, that being told, and that is the truth on what happened back then. Now, I will tell you, like, I still remember the day when I first saw The Dark Knight Rises when I was 12 to 13 years old, when I was at my beginning years of becoming a teenager. I'll never forget the day when I first saw The Dark Knight Rises. It was so awesome, and it was so good. It was freaking good. And when I heard that speech for the first time, I was like very confused. Like, I was very confused because I didn't know exactly what he was talking about, or what he was talking about, what happened back then before this before this movie came out, or right after this movie came out, however you want to say it. And I was like, okay, I'm glad that you're making this speech and all, but what exactly are you talking about? What happened back then? And who the heck is Harvey Dent? Why are we talking about this man again? Why? Did he have to do something to deal with something important back then? Or did something happen that I did not know? I haven't seen the Dark Knight trilogy, and I would have to go see it and see what he's talking about. And then, right when I saw The Dark Knight and Batman Begins, I was like, oh, now I understand. Now I see what he's talking about. Okay, so that's what happened back then. And now I understand what he's talking about and what happened back then. So what they were talking about is, what we reacted to and what happened, and, Harvey Dent threatening Commissioner Gordon because, he went crazy since his loved one, Rachel, died after that big explosion that the Joker caused, because the Joker, wanted to see him fall the same fate as everybody else did in the Dark Knight movie. God bless Heath Ledger. May him rest in peace in heaven. He was such a great actor. But anyways, that's what happened back then, because I didn't understand, because I was still very, very young. I didn't understand anything back then, but now I do. Now I do understand everything, since I'm older now. I'm 19 years old, and that was, that was way back then, like 5-6 years ago, when I was, when I was 12 to 13 years old. That was, like, almost a decade ago. And I can't believe that this movie is half a decade years old. It feels like a few years ago, even though when it just came out, like, 5-6 years ago, or 6-7 years ago, or whatever. I can't believe that this movie is going to be a decade years old. Because, The Dark Knight came out 11 years ago, and it's almost going to be coming out 12 years ago, ever since then. And Batman Begins came out 12 years ago, and it's gonna be now not 12 years ago. It came out 13 years ago, and then next year it will be coming out 14 years ago for now, when it turns to 2019 and all that. That's when Batman Begins came out, and that's when The Dark Knight came out. And this one came out when I was a teenager. Batman Begins came out probably when I was 5 to 6, but back in that day, I didn't know that the Dark Knight trilogy existed back then. I didn't know it did back then because I was a little kid and I didn't have Time Warner Cable back then. All I had was regular TV and just regular channels and all that. I had channels 11, 13, 29, and 14, 20 something, and the other 20s, and some of the other basic channels and all that. I didn't have that back then. I didn't discover these movies back then. If I did have Time Warner Cable back then I would have grown up on the Dark Knight trilogy series. That's what would have happened. But I guess sometimes there are some things that we can't get in life, and sometimes the future changes of what happens in life. You know what I mean, do you? Alright, so anyways, back to what I was saying, and back to what we're doing here. So that's what happened in the Dark Knight back then, and that's what Bane was talking about in his speech. So now we know and understand the whole thing of what was going on in the Dark Knight trilogy. The truth is, and we've talked about this already, but I'll explain the whole truth again. Two-Face, which is Harvey Dent, threatened Commissioner Gordon because he lost his loved one, Rachel, which is his, well, kinda girlfriend to him, and because Rachel chose him over Bruce Wayne, which is the Batman, and you know she wanted to spend time with him for the rest of his life. But after the Joker or the Joker's crewmen tied Harvey Dent and Rachel to two separate rooms with all these red barrels of fire and all that crap, and and that's when he finally made his decision. Well, actually, almost. What happened was Batman and Commissioner Gordon were trying the fastest as they can to get to the building, but unfortunately, I mean, they were fast enough, but they weren't even faster enough because they were kind of too late, and they realized at the last second in the Dark Knight movie. And like before they decided to plan it out on how to save them, it was by choice. So they decided to act out and see what they can do. But unfortunately, when Batman came in, he saw that Harvey Dent was on the floor with the fuel that was spilling on the floor and all that because Harvey Dent earlier accidentally knocks down one of the red barrels of fuel, and Harvey Dent tells Batman, "No, no, no! Why are you coming for me? Why are you coming for me? Get Rachel! Get Rachel! You have to save her. She's gonna be killed. Please forget about me. Forget about me. Why are you coming for me, Batman?" And unfortunately, when Batman, he goes in and he takes Harvey Dent out of the building, and Harvey Dent is crying to make Batman to save Rachel, but unfortunately, it was too late. All the red barrels in the building blew up, and it killed Rachel in the fire and all that. And unfortunately, it knocked Batman and Harvey Dent down, and that's how he became Two-Face on the right side or left side, whatever unique point of view of his face. That's when the fire hits his face, and that's when he became Two-Face for the first time. Because ever since I saw Two-Face for the first time, I've always wondered how he became the Two-Face. And once I saw the origin, I was like, oh. So that's how he becomes Two-Face. Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that tragic, and I didn't know that's what happened to him. Oh, okay, now it all makes sense. But anyways, and that's how he became Two-Face. So yeah, that's why he was mad at Commissioner Gordon and all that, because, you know, he thinks that he wasn't fast enough. He blames him for everything because he was responsible for him and all that. And he wanted to listen to him, but unfortunately Commissioner Gordon didn't, and that's when the whole future changed, and that's why the Joker won. If Commissioner Gordon had listened to him, well, Rachel would have been alive right now, and the Joker, well, his plan would have sort of failed and all that. But unfortunately, the future changed. So anyways, so yeah, that's what he was mad at him for. So he threatened to kill the one that Commissioner Gordon loved most. And that's when the whole thing, you know, starts happening. And that's what we remembered, and that was the whole truth. And then Batman, he comes in, and he takes out Two-Face, and he kills him and all that. Well, yeah, he does kill him, because he grabs him, takes him, and he lets him fall to his back when he falls to his death. So anyways, and then Batman falls to the ground because, you know, he didn't have enough grip to hold on. So, and Commissioner Gordon comes down, tries to help Batman, and, you know, he was okay. He was alright. So anyways, after that, the Batman says that the Joker cannot win, and that Harvey Dent is the actual true hero, that Batman is not. But Commissioner Gordon tries to tell him, no, you are the hero. Harvey Dent is not the hero. He cannot win. And he was also trying to tell him that the Joker did win because of what happened and all that.